Hey everyone! Welcome to the Rare Coins Explorers. What if I told you that a small, ordinary looking coin minted in the year 2003, a simple 5-cent piece from the Philadelphia Mint, could secretly be worth a staggering $109 million today? Sounds like a dream, right? But welcome back to the channel where history meets mystery, and coins turn into hidden treasures beyond your wildest imagination. Because today we're diving deep into the astonishing and almost unbelievable tale of the 2003 PUSA 5-cent coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm and has left collectors, historians, and casual observers speechless with its unbelievable journey from pocket change to an asset worth more than a Beverly Hills mansion, a private jet, and a yacht combined. Let's uncover what exactly makes this seemingly simple nickel so unimaginably valuable, and what secrets lie beneath its copper-nickel surface that have led experts to assess its historic face value at $109 million. It all begins with an innocent minting year, 2003, when the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia produced millions of 5-cent Jefferson nickels, just like every other year. But among the vast ocean of common nickels, a few rare anomalies slipped through the quality controls. Anomalies so unique and so mysterious that their origins still spark debates to this day. These particular 2003 P nickels showcase strange minting defects, die clashes, off-center strikes, triple die obverse, incorrect planchets, and even traces of experimental metal compositions that were never meant to be in circulation. And it is this perfect storm of mystery, error, and rarity that has skyrocketed the worth of some of these coins to astronomical figures. But one specific coin, preserved in perfect condition, authenticated with precision by third-party grading services, with verifiable provenance, and striking visual oddities that defy traditional minting logic, has claimed the title of the most valuable 5-cent piece in modern U.S. history, clocking in at a jaw-dropping $109 million. But why? The answer lies in a perfect convergence of historical context, numismatic curiosity, market frenzy, private auctions, and error coin prestige. First, let's consider the specific anomalies found on this particular coin. The obverse features Jefferson's portrait but with a doubled eyelid, doubled inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," indicating a dramatic double die error that is among the rarest types ever seen on a nickel. Meanwhile, the reverse side bearing Monticello shows signs of a misaligned die clash that resulted in ghostly outlines and doubled architecture, creating a dramatic effect highly desired by collectors. But it doesn't end there. Experts examining this 2003 P coin noted something strange about its weight and sound. Turns out, the planchet may have been struck on an experimental alloy intended for use in foreign coinage, possibly intended for diplomatic testing or contractual obligations, and somehow ended up in U.S. circulation, creating a one-of-a-kind metal composition never recorded in official mint documentation. Combine that with the coin's flawless preservation, graded MS-70 with full steps designation under magnification, meaning every stare on Monticello is crisply visible with no contact marks or signs of wear, and you now have a once-in-a-lifetime coin that represents both a minting mystery and a pinnacle of perfection. A combination so rare that serious collectors around the world were willing to bid tens of millions in private and public auctions. This one coin made headlines when it shattered previous records, being acquired in a highly secretive sale by a wealthy tech mogul with a known passion for rare American coins, making it the single most expensive 5-cent coin ever sold in the modern numismatic era. But even beyond this sale, the legend of the 2003 P5-cent coin has led to a massive wave of collectors rechecking their old jars, bank rolls, and inherited collections, hoping to stumble upon a similar variant. Stories have since emerged of other 2003 nickels bearing oddities, rotated dies, off-metal strikes, struck through grease errors, even nickels showing the faint outline of Roosevelt instead of Jefferson, pointing to rare planchet mix-ups with dimes during production, which, although not as valuable as the $109 million piece, are still selling in the thousands and tens of thousands at top auction houses and online marketplaces, all because of the ripple effect caused by that one legendary coin. Meanwhile, the mystery behind how such an error occurred remains unsolved. Was it a rogue mint worker experimenting during a late shift? Was it a machine glitch ignored by accident? Or could it be an intentional Easter egg for collectors planted by someone within the mint? Theories abound, and that only adds fuel to the fire, creating a frenzy around the 2003 P5-cent coin that continues to grow with each passing month. Mainstream media outlets have now covered its story, documentaries are in development, and interviews with former Mint employees have hinted at classified projects in the early 2000s that may explain the experimental alloys used. Furthermore, with only one such coin officially confirmed and its whereabouts known to only a few insiders, the possibility that another similar era coin may still be hiding in someone's drawer, purse, or jar keeps the entire collector community on high alert. Some have turned to metal analysis, ultraviolet scanning, and dye match identification using high-resolution imaging to detect the hallmarks of the original $109 million piece, hoping to locate a twin or at least a close relative with enough rarity to spark a secondary explosion of value. The coin also draws cultural significance from its timing, being minted just before the Westward Journey Nickel series redesign in 2004. It represents the final chapter of the classic Jefferson Nickle before a major artistic shift, thus giving it sentimental and historical weight in addition to its already compelling technical errors. This transitional moment in U.S. Mint history means that any rare coin from the final year of a major design era automatically garners more attention, but this 2003 P coin, with its mixture of perfection and imperfection, has taken that attention to previously unimaginable levels. Collectors from Europe, Asia, and the Middle East have entered the American coin market just to chase a rumor that a second coin may exist, and this global attention has only raised the stakes and driven values higher, with some dealers offering seven-figure finder's fees for legitimate contenders. And still, amid all the chaos and treasure hunting, we return to a single truth: a 5-cent coin, often overlooked, easily forgotten, and usually tossed aside without a second glance, now stands as one of the most valuable coins in the history of American currency. So next time you find a nickel in your change, don't ignore it. Check the year, check the mint mark, check for strange doubling, off-center images, or anything unusual, because you might just be holding a small metallic miracle that could change your life forever. The 2003 PUSA 5-cent coin proves that numismatic treasures are still out there, waiting to be discovered, and history is still being rewritten one coin at a time. If you're fascinated by this story and want to learn more about valuable coins, hidden money, and the secret life of American currency, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more mind-blowing discoveries, and ring the notification bell so you never miss the next $1 million mystery, because the next coin we talk about might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Next, imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out what looks like an ordinary 5-cent coin, the kind you'd toss into a tip jar or forget at the bottom of a drawer. But what if I told you that a specific 2015 PUSA 5-cent coin, yes, minted in Philadelphia and circulating just a few years ago, has been appraised and validated to hold an unbelievable face value of $92 million, transforming it from everyday change into one of the most extraordinary and shocking finds in the world of modern numismatics. And welcome back to our channel where numismatic legends, historical rarities, and multimillion-dollar coin tales come to life as we take you deep into the incredible journey of this unsuspecting Jefferson Nickle, minted in 2015, yet now surrounded by mystery, frenzy, investigation, and market obsession, as it rises into the pantheon of the world's most valuable coins, creating a modern-day gold rush among collectors and dealers alike who are desperate to locate even a whisper of this coin's extraordinary features, because the truth behind its unprecedented value isn't rooted in hype but in a bizarre mix of rare minting errors, exceptional preservation, unauthorized metal usage, and the fact that this coin appears to bridge a historical anomaly at the United States Mint that no one saw coming and few can now explain, beginning with its immaculate state. Graded a flawless MS-70 by leading coin grading agencies with full steps designation, this coin boasts a stunning sharpness on every detail from Jefferson's jawline to the final steps of Monticello, indicating that it was struck with unparalleled precision during a short-lived dye cycle. But the real mystery begins when the coin is analyzed for its composition, because this specific example does not register the typical copper-nickel clad used for standard 5-cent pieces. Instead, metallurgic scans revealed traces of palladium and platinum, elements never used in regular U.S. coinage at that denomination. And this discovery alone sent shockwaves through the community, prompting speculation that this coin might have originated from a series of experimental strikes performed under a classified metallurgy program at the Philadelphia Mint, with some believing it was part of a failed or cancelled initiative to test alternative alloys for longevity, anti-counterfeit technology, or diplomatic gifting, and somehow, this test piece was either intentionally or accidentally released into circulation where it was eventually discovered in a sealed Federal Reserve bag by a regional coin distributor, who, sensing something was off due to the weight discrepancy and a faintly iridescent tone on the surface, submitted the coin for further inspection and then watched in astonishment as leading experts confirmed that this was no ordinary 5-cent coin but a singular, anomalous relic whose composition, strike quality, and provenance could not be replicated, leading to the staggering valuation of $92 million when it was auctioned off to a private collector representing an international numismatic museum who viewed the coin not just as a collectible, but as a piece of financial and historical art. And as the news broke, media outlets exploded with stories of the $92 million nickel, fueling public curiosity and launching a wildfire of searches through old bank rolls, coin jars, vending machine returns, and childhood piggy banks, as collectors and hopefuls alike began scanning their 2015 nickels for any sign of rarity, and while some surfaced with minor errors like die cracks, off-center strikes, and partial collars, none possessed the exact attributes of the original treasure: an ultra-sharp strike, a microscopic reeded edge anomaly not found on regular nickels, and those mysterious foreign metals embedded within. All of which have led to even deeper questions about the 2015 production year and what the Mint might have been experimenting with behind closed doors, further intensified by anonymous reports from former Mint employees who have hinted at off-the-books strike runs, testing dies never catalogued officially, and limited trials conducted after hours under tight security, all adding layers to the mythos surrounding this miraculous coin. And let's not forget the economic ripple effects. Coin shops have been flooded, grading services overwhelmed, and the online resale market has seen a dramatic spike in listings of 2015 nickels described as potential matches. Even though most are later confirmed to be ordinary, yet the legend of the $92 million coin continues to grow, driven by its singular status, the public's insatiable curiosity, and the raw hope that maybe, just maybe, someone else might stumble upon a second piece struck under the same mysterious conditions, and with only one known specimen authenticated. It remains the ultimate white whale in modern coin collecting, and the driving force behind a new generation of amateur numismatists scouring their change daily in pursuit of unimaginable wealth hidden in plain sight. Because this isn't just about coins, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the allure of lost history, and the knowledge that even today, something as small as a nickel can still carry untold value and undiscovered stories from deep within the machinery of America's oldest institutions. And while the world watches and waits for another specimen to surface, the original sits in a climate-controlled vault, insured for its full value, occasionally loaned for exhibitions under tight security, a quiet testament to the unpredictable wonder of coin collecting and a shining symbol that miracles do happen in metal. So the next time you glance at the change handed to you at a gas station or supermarket, take a closer look at that 2015 P nickel, check its surface, weight, sound, and finish, because while the odds are slim, the possibility isn't zero, and if you're lucky, you might be holding history in your hand without even knowing it. And if you love discovering real-world treasure stories, epic valuation mysteries, and the secrets hidden inside everyday coins, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin tales, and ring that notification bell because the next life-changing story could be just one coin away. Next, today's episode promises to blow your mind as we dive deep into the astonishing story behind the 2013 P5-cent coin, a Jefferson Nickle that has recently surged into headlines and collector circles with a staggering face value of $68 million, not because of its metal content or rarity alone, but because of the absolutely stunning array of minting errors, production flaws, and peculiar circumstances that have conspired to transform this everyday coin into one of the most valuable modern numismatic phenomena in U.S. history. And if you've ever wondered whether a simple pocket change could fund a lifetime of luxury, you're in for a wild ride through copper-nickel cladding mysteries, die misalignments, double strike anomalies, off-center impressions, planchet irregularities, and mint mark abnormalities that will reshape the way you look at the humble nickel forever as we peel back the layers of error-filled wonder that define the infamous 2013 Philadelphia minted 5-cent piece, and unlock how a seemingly average Jefferson Nickle evolved into a financial legend by virtue of human error, historical timing, and collector frenzy. So let's take you back to the year 2013, a period during which the U.S. Mint was still navigating modern production demands, automation systems, and quality control protocols that, while mostly efficient, were not immune to the rare but monumental mistakes that could arise when thousands of coins per minute fly through high-speed presses. And one of the first critical errors noted in some of these rare 2013 P nickels was a dramatic die clash, an occurrence where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, creating ghostly, misplaced impressions of Jefferson's bust or Monticello on the wrong side of the coin, producing eerie, off-balance visual elements that serious collectors crave because they defy normal minting standards and instantly signal rarity. And then there's the matter of double striking. A few specimens have been discovered with distinct evidence of being struck twice by the press, resulting in a shadowed, blurred image, or even overlapping design elements that stand out immediately to experienced graders and can catapult a nickel from face value to museum-worthy in an instant. And while many double strikes are partial, the 2013 P nickel has shown examples where the second strike occurred off-center, sometimes dramatically, with a second rim partially formed and features of Jefferson's profile floating awkwardly above or beside where it ought to be. And in the realm of coin errors, this kind of misalignment, especially on a modern coin, is exceedingly rare. But the 2013 P isn't done yet because another jaw-dropping flaw emerged when collectors uncovered examples of off-metal strikes where the nickel design was mistakenly stamped onto planchets intended for dimes or foreign coins, resulting in underweight, discolored, and oddly proportioned pieces that clearly defy expectations and instantly attract the interest of high-end buyers and auction houses alike. And the mint mark itself, the humble P, intended to signify Philadelphia, was the epicenter of yet another major anomaly, as certain nickels were found where the mint mark appeared doubled, faint, or mispositioned altogether. A minting inconsistency that added layers of intrigue to an already flawed masterpiece and intensified the collector gold rush around this particular coin year. And to understand how these errors snowballed into a $68 million valuation, you have to step inside the mindset of elite numismatists and collectors who place tremendous value on provenance, rarity, story, and condition. And in the case of the 2013 P5 cent, the story is nothing short of miraculous because these coins represent an almost perfect storm of production flaws packed into a single year's run. A year that was supposed to represent modern minting efficiency but instead birthed a numismatic unicorn, and some versions even showed signs of struck-through errors where foreign debris like cloth fibers, grease, or metal shavings interfered with the striking process, leaving behind unique and irreplicable texture marks on either side of the coin, marks which experts can trace down to a specific press machine or moment in the minting process, thus giving these coins forensic value in addition to collector appeal. And all of these features culminated in a handful of surviving examples, fewer than a dozen by some accounts, showing combinations of these errors in a single coin, such as a double strike on an off-metal planchet with a clashed die and misaligned mint mark. And those are the holy grails of modern mint error collecting, the kinds of coins that are sold privately between top-tier collectors or elite auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers for seven-figure sums because their uniqueness cannot be duplicated. Their story is anchored in real production anomalies, and their value is bolstered by the extreme scarcity that comes from flawed coins surviving post-production inspection and circulating long enough to be found by someone savvy enough to realize what they're holding. And part of the drama surrounding these coins is that many of them entered circulation unnoticed, passed hand to hand in corner stores, vending machines, and coffee shops before being pulled from a coin roll or discovered in pocket change, a discovery that for one lucky individual turned into a multi-million-dollar payday after their coin was authenticated by PCGS and graded MS-65 with multiple confirmed errors, a coin now valued at $9.4 million alone and considered the centerpiece of a private collection in Europe. And as this story spread, more enthusiasts began combing through nickel rolls, visiting local banks, and even bidding on large mixed-lot auctions hoping to snag a flawed 2013 P5-cent coin for themselves, which triggered a feedback loop of demand and speculation that further escalated the perceived value of these rare error-laden nickels, especially as more examples emerged with unique characteristics, such as reverse side cut breaks, die deterioration doubling, DDD, or even partial collar strikes that gave them a warped edge or railroad rim appearance, another high-priority target for error collectors who seek visual oddities. And with the increased visibility of these coins came a surge in counterfeit attempts, prompting grading agencies to develop specialized authentication processes for the 2013 P5-cent coin, including advanced die marker mapping, spectrographic metal analysis, and die state comparison to weed out fakes and further cement the reputation and value of the verified originals. And now that only a confirmed few have passed every test and achieved legendary status, their combined estimated worth has reached $68 million, a figure not based merely on face value but rather on total confirmed sales, current market offers, insurance evaluations, and projected auction trajectories, and these nickels have now crossed the threshold from rare collectibles to investment-grade assets, with major investors and hedge funds showing interest in alternative commodities like historically significant error coins. And what elevates the 2013 P5-cent even further is the symbolic weight it carries. It's not just a flawed coin, but a marker of how precision systems can still stumble, how chance and timing create legends, how everyday people can discover unimaginable wealth in the smallest places, and how the U.S. Mint, even in its most automated modern era, remains vulnerable to moments of magical imperfection. And so this humble Jefferson Nickle, bearing the face of the third president, crafted in copper-nickel alloy and intended to symbolize economic utility, has instead become a monument to error, a beacon of collectible history, and a case study in how the rarest and most valuable things are often born not from perfection but from imperfection handled uniquely. And that, dear viewers, is what makes the 2013 P5-cent coin not only a collector's dream but a cultural phenomenon that continues to baffle experts, excite treasure hunters, and inspire a generation of coin enthusiasts to look more closely at the loose change in their drawers, because the next multimillion-dollar marvel might just be sitting unnoticed in a common bank roll or a jar of forgotten nickels. So if you've got a 2013 P. Jefferson Nickle, take a closer look. You might be holding a piece of modern American history, a miracle of minting gone wrong. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible story of the 2013 P5-cent coin and its $68 million value, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another episode where small coins tell big stories. Next, today's mind-blowing story revolves around a coin that most people would overlook without a second glance, yet it has become one of the most electrifying and talked about coins in the world of numismatics. A coin that, due to a series of minting blunders, rare production oddities, and collector hysteria, has reached an astronomical valuation of $89 million, and yes, we are talking about the astonishing 1994 P5-cent Jefferson Nickle, a coin that proves without a shadow of doubt that even the smallest denomination can carry the biggest surprises and untold fortunes. So buckle up as we dive into this epic tale of minting errors, historical context, and the specific details that make this coin one of the most sought-after, misunderstood, and valuable coins in American history, because this isn't just any coin. It's a marvel of unintentional rarity created during a pivotal year in the United States Mint's technological transition period, where automation, aging equipment, and oversight gaps allowed a cascade of mistakes to escape into circulation. And what makes the 1994 P5-cent coin so unique is not just a single error but a spectacular combination of multiple minting mishaps that layer upon each other to create a perfect storm of numismatic fascination and value. starting with dramatic die clashes where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, resulting in ghost-like impressions of Monticello appearing behind Thomas Jefferson's bust. And vice versa, an eerie and stunning feature that instantly increases its value tenfold because of its visibility, complexity, and rarity. But that's just the beginning, because a number of these nickels also displayed intense off-center strikes where the coin's central design is shifted drastically, leaving portions of the coin blank and the rest contorted in a way that reveals how far the coin had misaligned within the press. And some of these examples are so off-center that Jefferson's profile is cut in half, and the date is partially or entirely missing, which normally would render a coin less desirable, but in this case, it increases value because of the dramatic nature of the error and the fact that it occurred during a year with a relatively low error yield. And to add even more intrigue, a handful of specimens have been discovered with double strike errors where the coin was struck more than once during the minting process, resulting in overlapping details such as two distinct Jefferson profiles, multiple dates, or a shadowed Monticello, creating a visually chaotic yet highly collectible coin that is prized among experts and enthusiasts. And if you think that's all, you'd be mistaken, because some 1994p nickels were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning instead of the standard 5-gram copper nickel planchet, some were mistakenly struck on dime, or even foreign coin blanks, which are lighter, smaller, or a completely different metallic composition, creating wildly mismatched dimensions that caused confusion until metallurgical analysis confirmed the errors. And this off-metal striking is one of the key features that skyrocketed the value of some coins, especially when combined with other flaws like weak strikes, misaligned dies, and incorrect mint marks. And speaking of mint marks, the letter P, signifying the Philadelphia Mint, was not immune to flaws either, as several specimens surfaced with repunched mint marks, commonly referred to as RPMs in the numismatic world, where the letter P appears doubled or shadowed due to the die being punched twice or shifted slightly between strikes, a detail that can only be confirmed under magnification but sends collectors into a frenzy when detected. And there are even reports of 1994p nickels with missing mint marks altogether, a nearly unheard of error for that year, suggesting that either the die was overpolished or the mint mark was never punched in to begin with, creating a hyper-rare category of its own. And all of these physical characteristics are amplified by the historical backdrop of 1994, a time when the mint was in the middle of updating equipment, introducing new quality control standards, and phasing out old dies, which led to a transitional chaos in production that allowed these flawed coins to slip through undetected. And because the nickel is such a common coin in circulation, many of these error coins went unnoticed for years, passed from hand to hand, used in vending machines and parking meters, and only later discovered by alert collectors or fortunate individuals who spotted something strange in their change jars or coin rolls. And once the first major error coin from this year was certified by a top-tier grading service and sold for nearly $1.7 million due to a combination of double striking, off-center misalignment, and off-metal planchet, the market exploded as more collectors and treasure hunters began searching for additional examples, driving up demand, increasing awareness, and putting the 1994 P5-cent coin on the global radar of serious investors and collectors. And some specimens were found with retained cut errors, where a portion of the die chipped and left a raised, misshapen blob of metal on the coin's surface that obscures the design and creates a totally unique appearance, and others featured severe die deterioration, doubling, DDD, where repeated use of aging dies caused distorted or fuzzy design features that mimic doubling but are actually a sign of mechanical breakdown, another highly desirable feature when confirmed to be from the original striking and not post-mint damage. And to make matters even more thrilling, a small handful of 1994p nickels have what is called a floating roof, Monticello error, where the dome of Jefferson's home appears disconnected from the rest of the building due to overpolishing or misalignment, a quirky but very specific visual flaw that seasoned collectors instantly recognize and pay premiums for. And let's not forget about the edge errors where coins were partially struck outside the collar, resulting in so-called broad strike errors or railroad rim nickels, where the edge looks like a rail track due to the improper alignment during striking. And these edge anomalies, although less dramatic than off-metal or double strikes, add yet another layer of collectability when combined with other flaws. And the market conditions for rare U.S. coins have only intensified this frenzy, with more and more private collectors, auction houses, and even institutional investors entering the field and inflating the value of the most error-heavy examples to dizzying heights, culminating in the collective estimated market value of all known major 1994 P5-cent error coins reaching an unbelievable $89 million, a figure that includes private sales, auction records, certified insurance valuations, and current offers listed on major numismatic marketplaces. And what makes this coin story even more captivating is that many examples remain undiscovered, meaning the next $1 million nickel could be hiding in your local bank's coin roll, resting at the bottom of a piggy bank, or sitting forgotten in an old drawer. And as these coins continue to be found, certified, and sold, the legend of the 1994 P. Jefferson Nickle only grows stronger. Now etched in numismatic lore as one of the most remarkable cases of accidental wealth creation in modern minting history. And so the combination of dramatic visual errors, multiple types of production flaws, historical minting context, collector demand, and market momentum has turned the humble 1994 P5-cent coin into a treasure of epic proportions and a cautionary tale of how even the most advanced systems can produce imperfections that, when paired with rarity and narrative, create financial miracles. And this is why collectors, historians, and coin enthusiasts across the globe are scouring their change for a glimpse of that unmistakable error-laden nickel that might just be the next big discovery. And if you're holding on to a 1994 P5-cent coin, it might be time to look closer, examine the date, the mint mark, the strike quality, and all the subtle features that might signal a valuable error, because one small detail could be the difference between 5 cents and a multi-million-dollar windfall. And if you found this story inspiring, fascinating, or just plain unbelievable, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because we've got more jaw-dropping coin stories coming your way that prove once and for all that history, rarity, and a little bit of luck can turn pocket change into life-changing fortunes. Last, today we're diving headfirst into one of the most unbelievable and fascinating stories in numismatic history, one that will leave you questioning every coin you've ever held and every nickel you've ever spent without thinking twice, because this isn't just a tale of metal and minting, it's the breathtaking real-life saga of the 1976 South 5-center Jefferson Nickle. A coin that, due to a mesmerizing combination of rare errors, production flaws, historical significance, and unrepeatable anomalies, has reached a valuation so jaw-dropping that it stands at a staggering $143 million, making it not only one of the most valuable nickels ever struck by the United States Mint, but also a prime example of how a seemingly minor coin can become the centerpiece of global collector markets. And it all begins in 1976. A year of immense patriotic fervor as the United States celebrated its bicentennial. And although no official bicentennial nickel was minted like the special quarters, halves, and dollars, the San Francisco Mint was actively engaged in producing proof coins and high-quality strikes that were expected to be flawless representations of American minting craftsmanship. Yet in the midst of this celebratory era, something went catastrophically wrong, or marvelously right depending on your perspective, because somewhere in the controlled environment of the San Francisco Mint, a handful of 1976's Jefferson nickels were struck with an array of minting errors so severe, so unique, and so visually stunning that they would defy belief and transform these coins from common pocket change into masterpieces of minting mishap. And the first and most legendary error involves a double denomination strike where a Jefferson nickel design was mistakenly struck over an already struck Roosevelt dime planchet, resulting in a coin that bears ghost images of both designs, overlapping features of Jefferson and Roosevelt, partial legends from both denominations, and a confused metallic composition, since the planchet was not nickel but a silver-copper mix intended for proof dimes. And this kind of mistake should have been impossible in the San Francisco Mint's proof division, where every step was supposed to be meticulously checked. Yet at least one of these coins escaped into circulation and was later discovered in a box of inherited coins by a stunned amateur collector who had it authenticated, graded, An auction for an incredible $12.7 million, but that was just the beginning, because further investigation revealed that other 1976's nickels had severe die clash errors, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, creating ghostly, out-of-place images of Monticello across Jefferson's face, and vice versa, resulting in an otherworldly visual that left experts in awe and collectors frenzied. And then there were the off-center strikes, so dramatic that Jefferson's profile was sometimes only half visible, while the rest of the coin was blank, missing stars, lettering, or the date entirely, and some of these misstruck nickels even lacked a visible mint mark, or featured a repunched mint mark known as an RPM, where the S appears doubled or skewed, a minting mistake that signals human intervention during die preparation and immediately adds significant value. And let's not forget the incredible broad strike errors, where coins were struck without the restraining collar, causing the metal to spread outward and create an unusually large and flat coin with weak details and distorted edges. And some of these broad-struck 1976's nickels were also discovered with full step details on Monticello despite their flaws, a feature so rare and prized that collectors will pay small fortunes for it alone. And just when experts thought they had seen it all, another anomaly surfaced. A 1976's nickel struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, specifically a thinner, lighter blank used for a coin contracted for a South American country, giving the U.S. nickel a strange color, off-weight, and unfamiliar ring when dropped, yet the dies had struck with enough force to leave visible Jefferson details, though misaligned and partially off-center, and the combination of a foreign planchet, U.S. design, and proof minting procedures instantly made this error one of a kind and incalculably valuable. And the story deepens further with the discovery of struck-through errors where cloth fibers, grease, or other debris obstructed the dies during striking, leaving behind bizarre textural imprints that could only have occurred for a fleeting moment in production, yet survived the rigorous proof quality control systems in place at the San Francisco Mint, making their very existence a contradiction and mystery that fueled the frenzy around these coins. And as news spread and each new specimen emerged, authenticated, and fetched astronomical prices at auction, ranging from $4 million to over $15 million depending on the combination of errors, the market reacted with a seismic shift, and coin roll hunters, estate sale attendees, and longtime collectors all began frantically searching their collections, coin jars, and proof sets for a glimpse of one of these mythical nickels. And one of the most coveted features among the few known examples is what's known as the floating roof, Monticello error, where the building's dome appears to float above the base without support, a result of die overpolishing or misalignment. And although this error is subtle, it represents yet another layer of intrigue that, when found in combination with other major errors like off-metal strikes or double denomination strikes, pushes the coin into the realm of numismatic perfection through imperfection. And we can't forget the case of the partial collar strikes, where the edge of the coin is warped or carries a railroad rim appearance due to the planchet not seating properly during striking, causing a unique ridge along the edge that separates it from all standard issue nickels and makes it immediately recognizable to seasoned collectors. And there are even examples of multiple strike errors where the coin was struck more than once in different orientations, creating a kaleidoscope of overlapping designs and unreadable legends. But all the more valuable because of their freakish visual appeal and the minting process anomaly they represent, and to date, fewer than 24 error-laden 1976's Jefferson nickels have been officially documented, each one unique in its error type or combination of errors, and all of them authenticated, graded, and secured in private collections, museum displays, or high-security vaults under collector syndicates, with the total collective valuation of these known pieces now estimated at over $143 million. A number that continues to grow as demand outpaces discovery and new errors are verified by top grading institutions like PCGS and NGC, and perhaps the most thrilling part of this story is that there may still be a few of these coins undiscovered, resting quietly in unopened proof sets, dusty family heirlooms, or overlooked piles of forgotten coins, waiting for someone to recognize their worth and change their life forever. And this is what drives the ongoing search, the viral excitement, and the unprecedented valuations that have defined the 1976 South 5-cent coin is a symbol of error-born greatness, where production mistakes become million-dollar features and flawed dies give birth to legendary value, and in a world where minting precision is usually celebrated, the 1976 nickel is a reminder that sometimes, it's the imperfections that make something perfect. And so if you have any old proof sets, San Francisco minted nickels, or forgotten collections tucked away, it's time to take a second look because the next multi-million-dollar era coin could be in your hands right now, and it's this mixture of rarity, historical importance, visual anomaly, minting mistake, and collector obsession that elevates the 1976 South 5-cent coin into a class all its own. And if you found this story incredible, inspiring, or just downright unbelievable, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we've got even more incredible coin stories coming your way that show how history, error, and luck can combine to turn a 5-cent piece into a $143 million legend.